I think we thought she was just missing. She was, I don't know, somewhere hiding.
He spent 2 days looking for her. He would stop in the middle of traffic, pretending as if he actually saw her. He fooled us. We feel fooled. He laughed at us.
This is True Crime Arizona, the podcast.
I was sitting at my desk in the newsroom when we got some court paperwork into the assignment desk about a man arrested in the death of his wife. Sadly, that's not terribly uncommon, but immediately, the details of this stuck out in the written summary of what happened. Deceit, lies, and a storage bin. A storage bin. It was definitely unusual, and we would soon learn, barbaric. That's where this story begins.
We begin with a horrific story in Tempe. A man has now been arrested for manslaughter in the death of his wife, months after he reported her missing.
That woman was Claudia Moreno of Tempe, Arizona. To unravel what happened in this case, we had to work backwards. First, we wanted to learn about Claudia, who she was as a person.
She was really beautiful and smart and very loving, very protective mom, very much. She loved to have time with the family. It was always family first. Family always comes first.
That's Claudia's 14-year-old daughter, Jennifer. Jennifer is very soft-spoken and sweet. She's the middle of her siblings. She has an older brother who is 18 and a younger sister who is just 6 years old. Jennifer said her mom would go above and beyond for them. She remembered recently she wanted a meal for her birthday, so her mom went to the grocery store overnight to get all the ingredients and started baking the meal for hours to make sure it was ready in time for Jennifer's special day. Even with little time of her own and working as a single mom, there was always time for her kids. Claudia has 4 sisters who are all very close. They mimicked what Jennifer said.
First and foremost, she was an amazing mother. She was for her kids. She was for the family. She was the one that gathered us all together.
Things had been good lately. Claudia and her sisters were all getting ready for the holiday season. At the time, her sisters didn't know what would come next. It's emotional for them to recall those final moments with her, which seemed just status quo at the time.
The day before, she came out here just to go shopping. That was around the time for the holidays, and we didn't do nothing. We just spent time together.
We were Christmas shopping. We had lunch. And we made plans for Thursday to go to the movies, to watch Clifford with the girls.
Even more than just that fun holiday spirit, her sister Esther remembered something sentimental Claudia had said.
We had gone out dancing Friday night, and her daughter slept over in my place. During our conversation riding there to going out, she was just, talking about how life was beautiful and how she was enjoying life, And I remember her texting me Sunday morning, and she says, "Thank you for letting my daughter sleep over, and I love you." That was my last text.
It was November 10th, 2021. Jennifer remembered the day wasn't terribly unusual, but her mom did have a court date with her ex, Jennifer's biological dad. They had gotten out of school early, but Jennifer wanted to stay and hang out with her friends. She called her mom to let her know, but also asked for help with high school registration.
I was in 5th period. It was an early day, and I called her because I was getting a book and I wanted her to pick it up. And then I was also trying to get registered for high school, and I asked her to call the high school to see if they can get the PIN so I can get registered.
That was Jennifer's last conversation with her mom. Sometime between that phone call after her 5th period class and that evening, Claudia Moreno went missing.
She was reported missing by her husband in November.
The only information Claudia's family had was from her husband, Eugene Zamora.
Her husband said she walked away with nothing but her phone and some cash. And obviously that wasn't true.
Did you think it was odd at the time?
Yes, very odd, because she would never leave her home without, her purse. And walking, I mean, the only time she went out for a walk was she went for a run.
Eugene and Claudia had been together for years. Jennifer recalled him first coming into her life when she was 6 or 7.
From what you could see, did they have a good relationship? Did you trust him?
Mostly they had a good relationship. Of course, there would be a couple of fights, but that's normal.
Normal, yeah.
Yeah. Most of the time it was good. They were happy. She really loved him.
When somebody goes missing, the first person most believe could be involved is the spouse or significant other. But Claudia's sisters liked Eugene. That didn't really seem like a possibility.
What was the relationship like between you guys and him when she was missing?
Personally, myself, I didn't have any suspicions of him. I didn't think he would have a reason to hurt her. It just didn't cross my mind. I didn't see that. To me, he didn't have a motive. Why would he hurt her?
According to the police report, Eugene called police on November 13th to file a missing persons report. He told officers that day that Claudia had left on a walk without any belongings except her cell phone. He told them she went missing after a child custody dispute with her former husband. Claudia's family launched an all-out search for her, posting missing persons flyers, creating social media pages on Facebook and Instagram to bring awareness to her disappearance, and working with investigators. One look at Eugene Zamora's Facebook page, and he too was posting about his wife's disappearance. Those posts are still on his page now. He shares the missing poster with captions like, "We love you so much, Lisette. We need you to come home," asking the community to share and repost. He and her sisters often would call her by her middle name, Lisette. His last post was on New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2021. It was a picture of her with the caption, "Happy New Year's, Lisette. Love you and miss you so much."
I think we thought she was just missing, that she would come up, she was, somewhere hiding.
Her sisters did notice something kind of strange, though. Eugene didn't start posting right when Claudia went missing. He started posting 2 weeks after her disappearance.
He had just made a Facebook account, an Instagram account. He said he wasn't big on Instagram. That started a little bit before we found out the actual truth.
The actual truth would be a bombshell to everyone.
It's unbelievable to us. I think it's something that we just don't know how to process.
According to the police report, Eugene changed his story on February 5th, 2022. He told officers that on the day Claudia went missing, she and him had actually gotten into a verbal argument at their apartment, and he pushed her. He said she fell backwards from the push into the master bathroom and hit the back of her head on the bathtub. He told police it caused a large cut, and when he checked on her, she didn't have a pulse and wasn't breathing. He then told detectives he put her body in a black storage bin with a yellow lid and hid the bin in the bathroom closet. He went on to unplug all of the surveillance cameras they had, shut off Claudia's cell phone, and threw it in a lake in Ahwatukee, not far from their apartment. From there, he said he put the bin with her body into his storage unit down the road before taking the bin days later to a remote area in the desert about 100 miles away from Tempe and dumping it there. Through the course of the investigation, Eugene's cell phone location and data shows him traveling from place to place, the apartment, the storage unit, and out to the remote desert. Once he came clean, he eventually led officers to the area of the body where they smelled the foul odor of decomposing remains. The body was eventually confirmed to be Claudia's, and at first, Eugene Zamora was charged with manslaughter. More on that later. I went to their apartment when we first learned of the arrest and spoke briefly to Claudia and Eugene's next-door neighbor, Kelly. I wanted to know if anything seemed wrong.
Did you hear arguments at all?
Definitely heard some arguments. I didn't know what at the time.
But even then, couples argue all the time. How things escalated to striking her, storing her body in a bin for days, and deceiving her family felt like a mystery. Her sisters were completely shell-shocked by this. Claudia's sister Elda was so angry, and for her, the lies they were told by Eugene were one of the worst parts.
He went to California to go look for her.
Because he said a friend of his saw her there.
He spent 2 days looking for her. He cried. He would stop in the middle of traffic, pretending as if he actually saw her. He fooled us. We feel fooled. He laughed at us. He spent the holidays with us.
Claudia's sister Esther zeroed in on how he allegedly caused her death and what he did next. It was flat out inhumane.
The way he disappeared her body is, I can't process that through my mind. How can you put a body in a bin and store it? And then face us every day? It doesn't make sense. How could you have done this to your daughter and stepdaughter who you said you loved? If you said it was an accident, why did you get rid of her the way you did? You don't do that.
His stepdaughter, Jennifer, just 14 years old. Her stepdad now behind bars for the death of her mom. It's an unimaginable situation for a young teen to have to go through. This next clip is a little hard to understand Jennifer in because she's emotional, and rightfully so, but it's powerful.
I was just hurt. I didn't get my... She's gone. I don't get that mother-daughter dance at a kid's. I don't get her here for graduation. I don't get her here for a wedding. And it hurt because those were her biggest moments she wanted to see me in.
She said she won't get to have a mother-daughter dance, a quinceañera, her mom here for her graduation, or her future wedding. Let that sink in. It's all any mom dreams of, those big moments for her kids. That was stolen from both Claudia and Jennifer. But it's more than that. Her trust was shattered by a man she thought she knew.
But it hurts the most. It's because I trusted him. He saw me go through the pain. He saw me hurt. He saw how hard she fought for me.
What she's talking about there is how hard her mom has fought for her in a custody battle with her biological dad, Claudia's ex-husband, which was ongoing. Jennifer impressed me. Here was a 14-year-old girl who found out she lost her mom in such a horrible way, and yet she was strong enough to want to talk to me about what happened and share her story. I told her she inspired me, and I asked her where she finds the strength. For her, part of it is being a role model for her 6-year-old little sister.
I just try and see the good in things, the joy in things. That's one thing that I'm happy I get to do. I had her for 14 years. She didn't. I have a lot of memories. I miss the fights. I miss the arguments. I miss the hug. I miss the making up. I have that. She doesn't. And the most I can do is be an older sister and try and be there for her.
She's thankful for the memories she does have with her mom that mean more to her than ever. Claudia's sisters are trying to protect the kids through this.
Right now, I think our focus is on her kids. We want to keep her memory alive, especially for her 6-year-old. We're here to defend her kids. We're here to defend her name. We're here to defend who she was. She didn't deserve this. We don't know. We don't know how to start our life again. We don't know where to start. We don't know how to pick up the pieces.
Claudia's family wants justice for her, and to them, the case has already moved one step closer toward that. Shortly after his arrest, Eugene Zamora's charges were upgraded from manslaughter to second-degree murder. He now faces that, among other charges, including concealing dead body parts, tampering with physical evidence, and false reporting to law enforcement. He still sits behind bars, unable to post a cash-only $2 million bond. His case is working its way through the legal system, and Claudia's sisters say if and when a trial begins, they will absolutely be there. True Crime Arizona, the podcast, is hosted by me, Brianna Whitney, and produced by Sergio Hernandez. This episode was edited by Hunter Norris. It's a production of Arizona's Family, 3TV, CBS 5, and azfamily.com in Phoenix, Arizona.